Hey guys, just wanted to do an update on my last video. Let's start with the DXY. So last time we were here, we had bullish divergence. It didn't play out very well. The bulls couldn't step in and drive the prices higher, and continued with the negative momentum here on the MACD. But now it looks like we are potentially finding another bottom around these areas. Which actually is starting to look a little bit more bullish than with this bullish divergence on both the RSI and the MACD. The 4-hour negative momentum is about to turn positive. One could argue that there is a inverse head and shoulders here, which is a bullish pattern, or even maybe 3 rising valleys. 1, 2, 3 valleys. Let's move on to the weekly time frame. We're still well within this falling wedge. We have not fallen below the critical support resistance at 89.62. We still have impending bullish divergence on both the RSI and the MACD, with the negative momentum about to turn positive. So with this push here, we could very well break out of this wedge and test this top trend line here at 92.63 and higher. So we will have to see if next week is the week where the US dollar will break out. That would probably mean lower prices for equities. So watch out. Something I've been paying close attention to is the XLF. The XLF has made a massive recovery from the March lows, and we have failed to break all-time highs. Actually, we have failed to stay above all-time highs. We have broken out a little bit, but fell right back in. We did show some buyer exhaustion, aka bearish divergence here on the RSI. And as soon as that was confirmed, the selling began. I would assume that it will come down here to fill this gap in the near future. And if it cannot catch any bids to break all-time highs, we probably will fill this bigger gap down here. As they say, all gaps will fill, but we just don't know when. Let's jump over here to the daily time frame to give you a better look at some of the critical levels. The support resistance here was a previous all-time highs, which we broke here in December 2019. And this top support resistance here was the all-time highs that we have just recently broken. And it's not looking very good on the daily because we actually fell back below this bottom trend support resistance line, and that's not very good. Let's see if we get some more follow through selling actions to fill that gap. There is bearish divergence here on the MACD on the daily time frame, which is beginning to play out with these two negative momentum islands. Another banking ticker I'm looking at is the BKX, the Nasdaq Bank Index, which is very similar to the XLF, and they kind of are doing the same thing. Came up to this support resistant line, which is actually a major resistance, and has failed to break above it. And now we're coming back down to, and there's also another gap here, which may or may not fill. But last time we were up here, we've broken above, came back down, and created a right shoulder before breaking down massively. If you don't know what pattern this is the head and shoulders pattern. The left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and the confirmation line, which once it broke and confirmed, it came down pretty hard. You can see it time and time again. Every time, boom, 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 comes down. Let's jump over to the weekly time frame. I found a Gartley pattern, which is still valid. The price action has went past the PCZ a little bit, but you don't get stopped out on this pattern until you break above X. So we have came up to test this resistance and failed. So we could be looking for more downwards action with bearish divergence on the MACD building. Another ticker I have been looking at is AMC. AMC has been doing pretty horribly ever since COVID. As everybody knows, nobody can go and watch movies anymore, but something is happening right now. So you have one bottom and two bottoms, double bottom, triple bottom, whatever, and it's starting to reverse after a big drawdown. Let's go over to the daily time frame. I found a bullish shark pattern with some divergence here with bullish divergence. On both the RSI and MACD, and there's a lot of room to run. The target would be about $7. On the weekly time frame, it looks just as well, same bullish shark pattern with bullish divergence on both the RSI and the MACD, which positive momentum has not began yet. So there's plenty of room to run on this one, but it will take some time because we're looking at it on the weekly and daily time frame. So it could take about another week or two to completely hit their targets. Another indicator I'm looking at is the MMTH, the percentage of stocks above the 200-day moving average. That means anything that is over the 200-day moving average is considered a bullish stock. So right now we are about 88% of the stocks out there above the 200-day moving average, and that is very bullish conditions. But one thing to note is every time we come up to these levels, it's a market top. So we haven't broken in yet, but we're right there. We're knocking right at it. We have tried to break into it but failed once, so we may see something like that, or we could see something like this where we break in but not break all-time highs and come tumbling down. Here's another example. We came up, broke in about a month and a half, stayed at these levels and started breaking down. So yeah, just something I'm looking at that I thought was interesting. That's it for today. Hope you guys have a good weekend.